Hey, Richest, you money maniacs, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about how JP Morgan got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. Boy, oh boy, it's a bad one too. All right, let's get right to it. Hey, Richest, you money maniacs, Tom coming at you. I'm very excited to share with you the good news that most Americans are not paying any attention to, again, that actually directly impacts you. That is JP Morgan being investigated by the Department of Justice. And why would they do that? Well, this is something that's actually been going on for quite a while. Let me read a couple headlines to you and then explain it. November 13th, 2018 on CNBC, how ex-JP Morgan silver traders' guilty plea could boost manipulation claim against the bank. So he pleaded guilty. Let's go to 2019, November 15, 2019. U.S. charges another ex-JP Morgan executive with alleged market manipulation, Reuters. September 16th, 2019. U.S. charges JP Morgan metals traders over alleged market manipulation. September 16th, 2019, 3 JP Morgan metals traders charged with market manipulations by the Financial Times. One from as recent as February 5th, 2020, JP Morgan facing criminal investigation over metal spoofing. And then the last one that I'll read to you is from February 8th, 2020, largest silver gold manipulation criminal case coming from SD Bullion. So what you just heard in terms of news being revealed is somebody got caught and pled guilty, which led to catching other people who pled guilty, who now have called out probably the entire organization of JP Morgan Chase on manipulating the price in the silver and gold markets. And we're talking about as I understand it, in the futures market. So if you don't understand how futures work, basically in the stock market, you have stocks, you buy and sell them, but you can also basically place a bet on whether a price of a stock is going to go up or down. And of course, if it goes up and you bet that it would go up, you'd make money. If it goes down and you bet that it would go down, then you'd make money that way too. So it doesn't matter to you. It does matter which way it goes according to how you bet. So if you bet that a stock price would go up, but it goes down, you lose money. So one of the ways that you can manipulate the market is by hedging against a price going up, so much so that it impacts emotionally trading around you. See, when large corporations buy swaths or see, that's why it's so important when an insider like a CEO or a large shareholder of a major corporation suddenly sells all their shares. Because all of the other traders around them say, oh, wait a minute, they must know something that I don't know because they're the big, shareholder. Why would they sell their stock unless the company is starting to fail? I'm getting out too. That's like Warren Buffett selling all of his airline stocks, except that he was on TV telling people now's the best time to get into the stock market. It was completely backwards. When someone usually liquidates or sells all of their shares, that means they're getting out for a good reason. So if you're hedging against a stock or something like a commodity like silver or gold, you can do it enough to the tune of billions of dollars to keep the price down artificially, which is exactly what the Federal Reserve and the U.S. government does with gold and silver anyway, which is why it's kind of hypocritical of them to be investigating JP Morgan Chase. But I guess it's become so obvious that the stock market and all the markets are completely crony manipulated, but that they need a scapegoat. They need somebody to point the finger at and say, it's JP Morgan Chase's fault for everything being manipulated. And so if we just crucify them, then the markets will be fine again, which is just ridiculous. That you're the people that caused the challenge. The Federal Reserve and the elected officials caused the financial challenge in the first place. You were lobbied enough that you passed laws that allow them to do all these crazy financial things that are so risky and bad for the economy. And now you're pointing the finger at JP Morgan Chase for them doing exactly what they asked you to make legal. So needless to say, The idea here is that JP Morgan got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. And they're going to be the sacrificial lamb to be able to be posted on up in the news as shame on you, JP Morgan Chase. You shouldn't manipulate the market that way. Wink, wink. Okay? So that's what that is about. But here's why it's important to you, because if you own silver and you see how much money is being, or gold for that matter, but you see how much money is currency is being printed by the Federal Reserve, you know that the price of silver and gold should have gone up a long time ago, except that it was being artificially depressed, not just by JP Morgan Chase, although they're going to be the sacrificial lamb, but also by the Federal Reserve, the elected officials, the US Congress, and other banks as well. Because if gold and silver goes up, it means the dollar is falling apart. People don't trust the US dollar anymore. And that's bad for business for the US economy. I mean, it's just bad all the way around, because a fractional currency system requires that the dollar get weaker and weaker every year anyway. So it's just basically economic suicide to adopt a fiat currency system at all, because eventually it does collapse, which is exactly what we're witnessing. And the only reason people are starting to take notice of it now is because it's happening so fast. So JP Morgan Chase is being investigated by the Department of Justice for racketeering, is even some of the wording that they used. Racketeering and market manipulation. And now remember, I just did a video on Hertz and their stock being soaring as a price when they had just already claimed bankruptcy. Yet we haven't heard anything about market manipulation there, or SEC rulings or laws being violated. Now, maybe they're still in the process of investigating, but it just seems curious that almost nobody knows about JP Morgan Chase being investigated. Why? Because we're all so busy looking over here at this political issue and this political issue, health and race, and oh Lord, it's all so emotional. The real challenge is always financial. And here's why. Here's the lesson. Because everything that you do that allows for freedom and allows for opportunity is based off of a financial system. And if somebody is manipulating that financial system, guess what? Your freedoms and your liberties and your opportunities are taken away. You don't have the freedom and opportunity that you thought you had. You don't have the choices you thought you had. You know, it's like with elections. Okay, you can vote for this guy or this guy. They're both going to do the same thing. They're going to keep the system running so that keeps you down, or leaves you with limited opportunities, right? But at least you got a choice. This evil or this greater evil. Which would you prefer? Now, that's not always the case. Some people go into politics with the best of intent. And then what they discover later is that the system is so bad that it would take multiple lifetimes to correct it. Is it a worthy cause? Absolutely. The U.S. Constitution is the best document ever invented in human history. The United States of America is the best model of how to find out what actually works, especially when it comes to individual rights and property and privacy. However, right now the pendulum has swung this way towards corruption so bad, it's going to take a while to get a big enough enema to clean all that stuff out. And that's really what it needs. The country needs in the financial system, it needs it in the criminal system, it needs it in all kinds of different systems, a big, huge enema to flush out the crap. So, JP Morgan Chase is a good start. Let's investigate more. Let's find out where the market manipulation is occurring, really where it's coming from. Let's investigate the Federal Reserve. Let's investigate BlackRock. Let's investigate all elected officials that have any ties to corporations that even come close to manipulating the market. Let's do those kinds of investigations. Now, why is this important to you? Because for a long time now, my videos have had the theme, don't participate in the stock market. Get into silver and gold and into laser funds. That's why. Now, the wonderful thing for you as a silver and gold holder, if you already hold some, is when this starts to roll out and the manipulation is being called out and comes to a halt because nobody wants to be the next scapegoat, The price of silver and gold is going to skyrocket.
Houston now controlling.
It's going to take off like a rocket, and it's going to be awesome. So there you have it. JP Morgan just did us all a huge favor. We're going to see the manipulation of the silver and gold market come to a halt, at least for a while, long enough to have it spike, and for all of the stackers out there to be able to take advantage of that huge spike in price. All right, so I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't, definitely subscribe to the channel. All right, everybody, we'll see you next time.